Maybe no one told you, but the universe doesn't save anyone. It confirms who you decide to be, now. Controversial? Yes. Because freedom doesn't begin when everything is fixed. It begins when you let go before fixing. Paradox. The less you try to control, the more doors open quietly. Counterintuitive claim. Stopping the push is, many times, the most powerful action of your day. And the quick reward. In minutes, the body softens, the mind clears, and the path shows one possible next step. Breathe slowly. You've been calling delay what is, in truth, incubation. The test isn't punishment. It's triage for the size of the life you asked for. What if what holds you back isn't lack of opportunity, but the habit of pushing the wrong door? Today, you'll learn to reposition 1 millimeter and feel the ground help you walk. Simple promise, no magic formulas, just small repeatable practices that change your reality's climate. Curiosity. Why do opportunities arrive exactly when you drop the drama? The answer is in how you vote with your attention, talk to the now, and read the path's tests. If you accept this dive, the universe won't clap from the outside. It will cooperate from within. Come. The moment of liberation usually happens in silence and starts here. Topic 1. The snap. When you realize you were already free. He woke up to one of those days when everything felt crooked. Emails bouncing back, bus running late, phone dying, the tide against him. In the squeeze, he noticed the short breath, the tense brow. He closed his eyes on the stalled bus and released the control script. Okay, universe, a guide. 1 centimeter less force, a world more flow. When he stopped fighting the clock, the pieces began to move. An unexpected call. I thought of you for an opportunity. The right person, at the right minute, without him forcing the door. It wasn't magic. It was space created by dropping the friction. Where there had been noise, a passage appeared, a quiet, clear. He'd always thought freedom was a huge event. But he discovered it's often a 1 millimeter repositioning, like adjusting the chair, and suddenly his spine says, thank you. He didn't change the world, he changed the angle he leaned on it, and the world replied, almost like smiling back. The image that stayed was simple, a hill that lifts him. Instead of climbing against the terrain, he walked with the incline. Muscles didn't ask for heroics, they asked for cooperation. The ground seemed to offer the next step, one at a time, and the landscape, once dull, gained contour, depth, horizon. He tested this in small everyday scenes. Long line at the store? He breathed 426, softened his shoulders, observed. By letting go, he made space to notice the faster line beside him. He switched places without anxiety, like saying yes to the obvious. Freedom became an attention practice, not a bravery ad. Practical application that fits today, micro-action. He chose one spot where he was overforcing. That email he reread 10 times before sending, he stopped at 5. He sent it clear enough, without polishing, until the content vanished. Result, a positive reply and time freed for what mattered. To train, he created a small emergency protocol. When he felt his solar plexus tighten, he ran a 60-second body scan. Then he asked, what can I release without losing the essential? If there was something to delegate, he delegated. To delay, he delayed. If there was something to say, he said it simply. No soap opera, no suspense. He also noted signs of lightness after releasing the excess. More humor when speaking, less mental noise in decisions. Creativity flowed again like water through an unclogged pipe. And time, curiously, seemed to stretch when he stopped fighting it. He realized then, freedom is a repeated gesture, not a rare trophy. And for today, he left a question that opens roads. In what area can I stop pushing and shift just 1 millimeter? Maybe in tone of voice, in a flexible deadline, in the task list. Letting go is a silent vote that invites reality to cooperate. And pay attention, because next, where you place focus becomes the maestro. Topic 2. Attention is a vote. You expand what you feed. He began to notice attention had a flavor. When he clung to the problem, the day tasted like rust. When he rested on what worked, the air seemed to open windows. It wasn't naive, positive thinking. It was daily mental hygiene. Reality responded to what he nourished, like a plant that tracks the light. The analogy that guided him was the maestro and his orchestra. The music is already on stage. Strings, winds, percussion. If he points the baton at fear, the drums thunder louder. If he invites gratitude, the violins gain body and presence. The day's symphony shifts with the section receiving energy. To test without mysticism, he set a 24-hour exercise. Record 3 moments when he withdrew energy from a bad thought. No fighting, no inner debate, just shifted the focus. He traded "it won't work" for "what's the next simple step now?" At night, he reviewed and saw the drama didn't get fed. Concrete work example, tight deadlines and noisy group chat. He breathed 426, hit mute notifications for 30 minutes. He picked one traction task and worked to the first visible milestone. Tension lost the lead, delivery took the stage. Attention is a daily vote for what should grow. He drew a focus map for his phone and his mind. Home screen with essentials only, the rest in low-friction folders. At daybreak, 3 high-impact priorities, no perfume. Midday, a coherence check. Does this still deserve my energy? At night, specific gratitudes to train the eye that recognizes. When the looping thought appeared, what if it goes wrong? He treated it like a pushy notification, not like truth. He swiped it away. Remove attention for 10 minutes. He filled the space with a minimal action, a clear email, an objective ask. His body relaxed and the orchestra regained its tempo. Practical reading to sharpen the gaze. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. To train applied presence. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. He didn't become a monk, he became a curator of what lights him up. Curation isn't censorship, it's responsible direction of energy. Thus, his mind stopped being a public square and became a tended garden. By day's end, he noted a pattern. Sustained attention creates climate. A favorable climate germinates ideas, conversations, opportunities. And when the climate aligns, life answers with less friction. Attention became a loving, repeated, silent choice, and from that silence emerges the next step, talking to the universe in the now. Topic 3. Embodied present. Speaking to the universe in the now. He realized the universe doesn't speak tomorrow. It answers now. When he said, "One day I'll be," his body waited with no signal. When he embodied, "I already am," in essence, something unlocked within. It wasn't theater. It was inner posture, guiding outer gesture. Identity first, action second, result as consequence. To practice, he created a 60-second mini-rehearsal. Sit with an awake spine, feet grounded, soft eyes. Breathe 4-2-6 3 times, then visit the fulfilled scene. Don't think how, just feel the "it is." Texture, sense, light, voice. Finish with a coherent micro-act, a message, a file, a clear request. Clear. He adopted simple, present tense language. Instead of "I'll try to be healthy," "I nourish myself with respect today." Not "I want prosperity," but "I organize my finances with presence." The phrase pulled his body into now, and now pulled his choices. The future quit being a promise and became visible movement. Careful not to confuse this with denying reality. He didn't pretend the bill didn't exist. He planned the payment calmly. He didn't say, "Everything is perfect" in chaos. He said, "I choose my next step." Tuning is assuming the frequency before acting, without fleeing what is. Presence isn't escape, it's a map to cross the terrain. Practical example. He wanted smoother video recordings. Before hitting Recce, he did the 60-second rehearsal and embodied, "I speak with clarity." Next, a tiny setup, outline on screen, water nearby, phone on airplane mode. The "I already am" energy guided the "I'm doing it now" structure. The result sounded natural, no forced charisma, just presence. He also chose sensory anchors for the state, a specific song to enter focus, a touch on the chest to recall the chosen posture, a light scent to signal creation mode online, small triggers inviting the body to inhabit the present, readings and drills that helped, recording 2-minute audios to himself. In them, he spoke in the present. "I act with simplicity. I ask for help clearly." Hearing himself, he sensed the words pulling his body into here, and he reviewed. What did I do today that confirms this identity? The state grew roots when it became repeated gesture. In the end, an insight that changes the game. State is instruction for life. Who he is inside conducts what the world returns. When the present is embodied, signs get sharper. Useful coincidences, precise challenges, coherence tests appear. And then the path asks for fine reading, distinguishing signs, challenges, and tests. Topic 4. Signs, challenges, and tests. He learned to differentiate 3 invitations along the way. Signs, challenges, tests. Signs point direction. They repeat, wink, arrive through unlikely channels. 11:11 on the clock, the same idea popping up in different talks, a chance meeting. They don't demand rushing, they ask for presence and an honest step. Like road signs, if he reads them calmly, he avoids needless U-turns. Challenges aren't punishment, they're character gym. Life increases load to strengthen the vessel that will hold more. Deadlines tighten, plans shift, people disagree. Traction, not tragedy. He breathes 4-2-6, adjusts his pace and asks, what is this training in me? Resilience, communication, humility. He chooses the muscle and practices. Tests check coherence, simple, direct, no gossip. He says he wants peace and someone cuts the line. Does he keep peace? He asks for prosperity and an extra $500 appears. How does he treat that money? The proof isn't about number, it's about posture when no one's looking. Life watches what he sustains when the spotlight is off. The money example became a practical ruler. An unexpected $500 arrived. He split it 3 ways and logged it. Essentials, building, conscious joy, no guilt, no spree. If the jar doesn't leak at $500, he shows readiness for $5,000. Organization is an energetic message. I can receive responsibly. To navigate better, he created a field reading checklist. Does this repeat? It may be a sign. Is it heavy yet builds virtues? Looks like a challenge. Does it ask coherence with what I declared I am? Sounds like a test. With this triage, he stopped dramatizing and started learning faster. He adopted the golden question. If I were the universe, would I hire me? If the answer wavers, he adjusts processes, not just promises. He organizes documents, clarifies communication, honors small deadlines. It's self-management with kindness and measured rigor. When he would hire himself, life trusts him with larger tasks. A 7-day application to refine this reading. Days 1-2 record 3 signs and the small step each suggests. Days 3-4 choose 1 challenge and name the muscle it trains. Days 5-6 recognize 2 tests and answer with a coherent gesture. Day 7 review the week and adjust routes. Less theory, more practice. In the end, he saw that living attentive isn't walking armed, but tuned. Signs give north, challenges give strength, tests give reliability. When he honors this trio, the path flows with less friction and more purpose. And to keep that flow, a secret of personal leadership. Delegation is power, because free energy grows when the basics run on their own, like a living organism. Topic 5. Delegation is power. Biology, companies, and your life. He looked at the body as a silent company. Heart, lungs, liver. Each area with a well-defined function. No one interrupts the heart to ask, "May I beat now?" There is intelligent delegation, systems running without the mind's supervision. When life mirrors this design, creative energy becomes available. The analogy got clear. Effective leaders don't micromanage everything. They define standards, map routes, and trust processes. In personal routine, this becomes simple, predictable checklists. How do I start my day? How do I close it? Written and visible. When the basics run themselves, the extraordinary finds space. Morning practical example, a 4-step ritual. Water, plus 4, 2 to 6 breathing, plus review 3 priorities, plus first micro action. No deciding everything on the fly, no inventing flair before coffee. Delegate the day's ignition to the ritual so the body finds its tempo. The mind says thanks, less friction, more traction, more. Night practical example, operational shutdown. Review the day's deliveries, plan 3 targets for tomorrow, prep the environment. Clean desk, File open at the right spot, phone on silent. It's like leaving the kitchen ready for breakfast. Tomorrow starts today, and anxiety loses the stage. Task management with no drama. A 3-column board. Inbox, everything incoming. In progress, max 3, done. No 15 fronts begging for attention at once. He delegates operational memory to the board and time guarding to the calendar. The mind becomes a strategy office, not a storage room for to-dos. Finances as process, not monthly suspense. Essential bills automated. 5-minute logging of ins and outs. Once a week, review the 3 jars. Essentials, building, joy. Delegate the reminder to the calendar, not to the day's mood. Organization becomes the message. I can receive and sustain. 3 tasks to standardize this week. Templates for frequent emails. Greeting, objective, next step. Recording, meeting, checklist. Gear, agenda, timing, follow-up. Focus routine in 25-50-minute blocks with guided breaks. He writes them, posts them on the wall, and lets the paper decide with him. Delegation teaches routine to work in his favor. And when something jams, he doesn't force it. He listens to the body. If the brow tightens, the system asks for fine-tuning. Maybe the process is fine, but the body became the alarm. Time to consult the sharpest compass there is, because delegation is power, and the body, when heard, points to power well used. Topic 6, the body as compass. He discovered the ego has an address in the body. It almost always appears as tension between the eyebrows, or a silent knot in the plexus, burning without flame. When he notices these signs, he doesn't argue with the mind. He pauses, breathes, and lets the body speak first. Quick practice, 4-2-6, breathing 3 times, 4 seconds in, 2 holding, 6 releasing. Then a 60-second scan, forehead, jaw, shoulders, chest, abdomen. Release 10% from each tension. No force, just invitation. And ask softly, what's the smallest gesture that relaxes me now? He created a simple rule for daily decisions. Consistent good sensation, direction. Persistent contraction, misalignment. It's not momentary pleasure, it's peace that remains after the act. If peace expands afterward, it's a yes. If it shrinks, it's an inelegant no. Concrete example, accepting a job invite. Reading the proposal, his forehead tightened and stomach clenched. He breathed 4-2-6, scanned, pictured 30 days living that routine. The contraction didn't ease, a clear misalignment sign. He replied with gratitude and a clean no, no drama. Another example, a hard talk with someone close. Before he'd get anxious, speak fast, hands cold. Now he anchors in the body, feet grounded, shoulders loose, slow voice. He begins with one fact, one feeling, one clear request. Physiology holds the bridge while the words cross. Daily somatic hygiene in 3 microacts. Morning 3-minute stretch plus, mindful glass of water. Midday 7-minute phone-free walk, eyes on the horizon. Night, release jaw and neck tension for 90 seconds. Small rituals that tune the compass before the big map. When the mind insists on decide now, he tests with time. He asks for 24 hours to feel the choice in everyday life. He watches sleep, mood, energy when thinking yes or no. The option that expands breath is usually wiser. The ego's hurry dissolves when the compass points north. Readings and trainings for a lucid body. Breath, James Nestor, to refine the air that guides state. Focus, Daniel Goleman, for quality of embodied attention. And a 2-line somatic journal, sensation before and after the action. With the body as compass, choices become encounters, making space for the match. Topic 7, love in match state. He understood love isn't a treasure hunt, it's vibrational compatibility. Asking for a luminous partner without sustaining light in daily life won't match. Like wanting fast Wi-Fi with the router switched off, no miracle. Training happens in chaos, traffic, lines, curt messages. If he keeps presence there, he emits the signal he wants to receive. Real scenario. Cut off in traffic, horn blaring, heat rising. He feels his chest contract, breathes 4-2-6, relaxes shoulders. He chooses a minimal, dignified gesture, yields the way, nods kindly. It's not submission, its elegance amid friction. The body records, "I sustain love even when reacting would be easy." Another drill, a hard talk at home. Before speaking, he anchors voice in a slow rhythm, soft gaze, starts with a fact, names a feeling, offers a clear request, avoids labels, swaps "you always" for "I notice now." Thus, the bridge holds the weight of the issue without collapsing. Daily micro-action for compatibility, one generous gesture in friction. If someone fails, he offers a realistic margin of understanding. If he gets a terse text, he replies with clarity and humanity. If the line stalls, he helps whoever's confused at the checkout. Small acts calibrate the magnet, and the magnet draws different encounters. He tended his own presence like preparing a home. Reasonable sleep, water nearby, light daily movement. Who cares quietly for themselves won't bargain for crumbs in the noise. Boundaries start being said with tenderness and firmness, and well-placed boundaries expand space for true love. Practical cultivation examples: a soft playlist to decelerate before talking, a 5-minute timer to listen without interrupting. A key question: what matters to you in this? A kindness journal. At night, record 3 given, received kindnesses. The heart learns by repeating, like any muscle. Readings that align the state. The 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, for clean communication. Nonviolent communication, Marshall Rosenberg, for language that connects. And a pocket mini-mantra, presence before position. When he chooses presence, many positions resolve themselves. Match isn't chance, it's statistics of luminous choices. Progress signs, shorter, more respectful conflicts. Random interactions yielding useful encounters and honest talks. Sharper intuition to say no when it's no, and yes when it's yes. Love becomes base, not prize, habit, not exception. And, curiously, the universe entrusts more resources to those who care well for what they love. Because mature love also shows up in the relationship with money. If he treats finances with presence, he communicates, "I'm ready to receive." Management is an energetic declaration, a jar without cracks. Next, he organizes the flow the way he cares for the heart. And money, like any energy, responds to the home that welcomes it. Topic 8. Money management is an energetic declaration. He realized money isn't just numbers, it's organized energy. When the financial house is clean, the universe understands, "I can receive." If the jar has cracks, any river becomes a puddle. Management became the language of readiness, calm, clear, predictable. Not rigidity, care that invites abundance to stay. The no-leak jar analogy changed his behavior. Instead of waiting for big earnings to start, he sealed the gaps, cancelled invisible fluff, negotiated fees, automated essentials. Water that used to slip away began to fill, quiet, steady. The sound jar started sending a message: "I'm trustworthy." A simple, powerful 7-day practice. Days 1 to 2. Set up 3 envelopes or virtual buckets. Essentials, building, conscious joy. Days 3 to 4. Log all inflows and outflows, card, cash, PIX. Days 5 to 6. Adjust percentages, e.g. 60-30-10 or 55 to 35 to 10. Day 7. Review. Give thanks. Choose one micro-adjustment for next week. Concrete example. An extra $500 came in. He split it by his current pattern and logged it in a simple sheet. $300 essentials, bills, $150 building, emergency Chong treasury bills, $50 a conscious joy. No guilt for leisure, no spree on essentials. Coherence is key. Repeat it and the system lays tracks. Tracks bring tranquility. Tools that ease the flow. A finance app or Google Sheets with 3 tabs mirroring the envelopes. Essential debits automated so mood doesn't decide. A 15-minute weekly alarm. Review and adjust. And a golden rule. Purchases above X require a 24-hour pause. Building isn't just saving, it's giving function to what remains. Emergency fund in liquid vehicles, e.g. Treasury Selic, daily liquidity CDs. Visible goals. Pay down expensive debt. Build 6 months. Invest in skills. He writes goals on the sheet's cover. No suspense, no magic. Money loves clarity, clarity loves purpose. Financial education as a spiritual gesture. He read The Richest Man in Babylon for simple, durable principles. He made a pact: spend energy organizing numbers, not arguing with them. When the spreadsheet speaks, he listens. When the balance asks for adjustment, he adjusts. The heart feels lighter when the math is honest. Progress signs began to show. Fewer end-of-month scares, more peace in work decisions. Negotiations turned firm and kind, value stated with serenity. By making space, better invites and more honest partnerships appeared. Looks like luck, but it's an energetic climate formed by consistent management. And amid this care, he admitted something with a smile. Even with a map, some stretches get foggy. That's where humility becomes power. Sincere "I don't know" opens the right door. Release control, prepare the soil. Choose one coherent micro-act. Grace usually enters when the mind quiets down to listen. Topic 9. The power of I don't know. He realized I don't know isn't weakness, it's space. When the mind stops warring for control, reality can breathe. Sincere "I don't know" dissolves the ego's rush and opens a window to grace. It's like turning on a soft light in a messy room. You see enough to take the next step, and that's enough. The seed analogy brought peace. No one pulls a plant to grow faster. You prepare the soil. Water, soil, light, and time does what time does. He chose to treat projects as seasons, not stopwatches. Less pressure, more cultivation. Harvests got more predictable. A 2-minute daily ritual to cross the fog. First minute, admit "I don't know" softly and give thanks. Second minute, choose one coherent micro-act and do it today. Send a clear email, organize a file, ask for targeted help. Courage stopped being noisy and became small, repeated gestures. When doubt got loud, he traded question for presence. Instead of "what if it goes wrong?" what alignment evidence is possible now? Sometimes it was one phone call, sometimes 25 minutes of focus. The miracle wasn't in glamour, but in continuity. Life responds to those who show up, even without guarantees. Practical example: big proposal, many ifs. He breathed 4 to 2 6, did the 2-minute ritual, listed 3 missing infos, called a reference, asked for a model contract, booked a short meeting. I don't know became a map of useful questions, not paralysis. In the end, he said a lucid yes, with limits, timelines, next steps. He also learned to celebrate productive emptiness. The pause between tasks wasn't guilt, it was irrigation of attention. 5 breaths, gazing at the horizon, reset his tempo. He returned with less noise and more precision. I don't know served as a bridge to now I know enough. Readings and drills for this season. Anti-Fragile, Taleb, to embrace what grows with uncertainty. Mindset, Dweck, to learn how to learn without shame in restarting. And a 3-column journal. Honest doubt, useful question, micro-act today. Once written, chaos loses costume and becomes a project. Maturity sign, calmer decisions, shorter errors. He started untying knots without inner fights. I don't know kept humility alive, curiosity lit, concrete faith. And curiously, the more he admitted not knowing, the more doors opened. Life trusts those who trust the process and show up for the next step. Now that you've seen the map, releasing excess, voting with attention, embodying the now, reading signs, training in challenge, passing tests, delegating the basics, listening to the body, loving with presence, organizing money's energy, honoring I don't know, comes the part that transforms. Apply. One small gesture today beats 10 promises for tomorrow. Choose 1 millimeter and move it now. Questions that nudge with care. In what area have you confused strength with straining? Which 5-minute micro-action proves in practice the identity you chose? Where is your attention funding drama, and how can you defund it in the next 24 hours? What boundary, said with tenderness, would open space for love and prosperity to breathe? A simple, powerful 24-hour proposal. Do the 60-second mini-rehearsal and execute 1 coherent step. Record 3 moments when you withdrew energy from a bad thought without debating it. At night, note 3 pieces of evidence of lightness, even tiny ones. Tomorrow, repeat. Silent repetition creates climate. Climate creates harvest. Practical invitation. Choose your now, peace in the body. 3, 4, 2, 6 cycles before any decision. Traction focus, 25 minutes on one task that moves the needle. Organized energy, log today's inflows, outflows, and split into essentials, building joy. Love match, one generous gesture exactly where something irritates you. A good provocation, the kind that shifts your axis. If you were the universe, would you hire yourself for the life you asked for? If the answer is not yet, no guilt, just adjustment. Simple, visible, repeatable patterns. When the basics run themselves, the extraordinary finds the door unlocked. Shall we talk in the comments? What was your snap watching this video? What will you change today in 5 minutes to make room for the universe's cooperation? What recent test did you recognize, and how will you respond next time? Write it down. Naming is the first move. If this content touched you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, the bell, to keep walking with us in small, consistent, liberating steps. Share this video with someone who's pushing harder than they need to. Sometimes 1 millimeter less struggle is a kilometer more life. I'm here every week to remind you, freedom is a daily practice, and it begins now.